Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Khushi's Corner, the podcast where we spill tea on teenage life. I'm Khushi, your go to host on Real Talk about friendships, school, and all the ups and downs in teenage life. On today's episode, I'm excited to have Ria with me. Ria, could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ria. I'm 16 years old, and one of my hobbies is photography. And Kushi and I have been friends since we were born.
In today's podcast, Ria and I are going to be discussing how beauty standards have affected us as we've grown up, particularly like in the Indian culture. So, Ria, the first question for you is that growing up, have you ever felt the need to look a certain way? For example, have lighter skin or curly hair to be considered pretty?
So, growing up in our Indian friend group that we had, I was the first one to have glasses.
Yeah.
And I was the first one, like I am still am, the first one to have curly hair.
Yeah.
So I definitely had no idea about anything about curly hair, but I definitely thought that having straight hair is basically like the standard.
Yeah.
So when I was around like 9, 10 years old, I used to think that, oh yeah, having straight hair is better.
Yeah.
So I used to comb out my hair every single day. And like, it used to be like a whole ball of puff. And to counteract that, I used to tie my hair to depuff it.
Yeah.
So I basically went through that phase, but now I'm over that since I've grown out of that phase and I've met other people from different countries and I've explored more. So it's definitely helped me accept myself who I am.
Yeah, I agree. And also with like just like because in the Indian community they don't talk about this. Like for curly hair, like we said, I don't think I knew what a curly hair routine was 2 years ago until we stepped out of like the Indian culture, Indian community and met new people and stuff.
Right, right.
Okay, so moving on to our second question. Do you see a difference between what's considered pretty or beautiful on Instagram or any other social media platform and between what Indian parents consider beautiful or even what Indian aunties consider beautiful?
I see a huge difference between it because in Instagram we see now these days since social media and there are a lot of trends and everything that tan skin, curly hair is considered more beautiful, right?
Right.
And Indian aunties think that, oh yeah, that's not ideal at all. Like having straight hair, being very light skinned is like the standard. So even in Bollywood, like they have like pin straight hair or even like
Yeah.
bouncy-ish hair
Yeah.
with fair skin. And now that we've explored more and seen more of other shows, we can see that, oh yeah, and for example, what's that show called with the Davy one?
Oh, never have I ever. Yeah.
In Never Have I Ever, as you can see, Davy's like tan, she's darker, she has curlier hair, and that's how now these days we see how Indian people are.
Yeah, and like when you mentioned about tan skin and stuff, like growing up as Indian kids, I think most of the Indian kids felt very conscious of their
Yeah.
skin color or like their tan skin or like oiling their hair in general. Like going to school with oil in your hair was very like not ideal for us. But now that you look at the new trends on social media, tan skin, people do fake tans to get tan and like they do like slick backs with oil and they like oil their
Right?
hair and stuff, not realizing. And like I think in some way it helps Indian people like accept their beauty because other people are also recognizing it and not like looking down upon it. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that because of this whole exposure that we've been introduced to after COVID. I can definitely say that Indian people have learned to accept themselves better.
Okay, moving on to the third question. Have you ever faced any comments, you or any of your friends? Has anyone, any Indian auntie or any other Indian parent commented on your looks based on, for example, your skin color, your weight, acne, or anything else?
Okay, so I'd like to share like this one incident that happened to me.
Yeah.
So when I was a kid, around I don't know when I was a kid, when I was a young kid,
Yeah.
and like we were trying out clothes in a Indian clothing store, and came out wearing this Indian outfit.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I was very like pale and fair. So So one of the people commented on me like, "Oh, look at this. It looks so good on you because you're so white."
Oh.
And I was like, I felt like attacked or even judged. I don't know what to say because I don't see myself in that like way as my skin tone or anything, skin color or anything. So I definitely felt like it was a bit judgy,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much it. Another incident that I will probably share is that I know a person that who just gained a bit of weight. It's just like how hormones work.
Yeah, especially when you're going through the puberty phase, like
Mm-hmm.
it's different for everyone.
Yeah. So the person was going through that phase, and the person just gained a bit of weight.
Yeah.
And people were taunting her, and it was like not nice. So it brought down like her confidence and self esteem. And people don't realize that when they say that in that way, it's probably for the better of the person, obviously. But it brings out their confidence. It brings down their self esteem, which is not really nice for the person, and it's just overall morally really really bad for the person.
Yeah, and I agree. And especially the way like some people say it, they say it as a very nice joke or like a nice comment. Or sometimes, like you said, they don't even mean to attack you or hurt you. They're just like commenting because like for them it's a nice thing. But especially because teenage girls go through the phase where they're very conscious about how they look, what their weight is, or especially their acne and stuff. And so just one little comment, even if it's just this joke, brings your self-esteem from here like all the way to here. And like I think, well, it has happened to me where like you never forget that comment, like it's just with you, like how you said your story, like you were so young back then and you still remember it. So I think that's one very important thing. Another thing that I want to know from your perspective, that what is one really annoying beauty standard that you feel like teenagers are obliged to follow?
So I would say that something they're expected or obliged to
Yeah.
follow were probably straight long hair, silky
Yeah.
hair, bareness, having a clear skin. So the aunties will be like, "Oh, here, try this remedy," you know,
That's so
try this
true.
home remedy.
Yeah.
Like, I just discovered it and it works really, really well. And so that's something that people might have been expected to follow. But now that we're past that point, hopefully, we're learning how to accept ourselves and even see ourselves in a different limelight.
Yeah, and I think now, like as time evolved, like maybe in the past this was more like it was more seen than happened now. Like I think like people have gained, the teenagers have gained more confidence, so they're ready to like step up and say something back to those aunties, and like they're not just gonna take anything like just because I know they're older. Of course, we have to respect them, but teenagers have now, like I've seen this a lot. They've set boundaries. Like they won't let anyone just disrespect them, even if it's as a joke. Like they will talk back. They will defend themselves. And I think that growth in the Indian community is something that we love to see, especially teenagers who are now like 13 or 14 and are in the phase that we went through at some point, and seeing them confident, happy, doing what they want, it really like it's a good thing to look like. It makes us happy, right?
Yeah, it feels really, really
Yeah.
nice to see other people like not letting anyone walk over
Yeah,
them,
yeah.
standing up for yourself. I really, really like that.
Yeah.
So, guys, stand up for yourself.
Lastly, I want to ask you that if there's one thing that you could change about Indian beauty standards or what Indian people think as pretty, what would it be and why?
I will probably change lack of representation because there are other people who are tanner, fairer, have straight hair, pin straight
Yeah.
hair, wavy hair, curly hair. So we would love to see some representation, and so it's nice to see some diversity.
I agree. And one last thought from Ria, that if there are any other teenagers out there who are struggling to with these beauty standards in the Indian culture or even outside of the Indian culture, do you have any advice, any suggestions for them?
So if you try and fit into any of your own culture's beauty standards, that won't help you. That'll just harm, self harm. It's basically self harm and bring down your confidence. So I would just say create your own beauty standard, be comfortable in yourself, and just have fun.
Yeah,
These are your life. These are your times to live your life. So
yeah, you don't want to spend your teenage years like worrying about how you look or
Mhm.
that you don't fit to beauty standards. You just want to be happy with who you are because you're not like anyone else in the world. You're different from everyone.
True.
Okay, Ria, thank you so much for being here today on Kushi's Corner. We had some amazing insights from your perspective about your life and advice for other teenagers. And I'm so happy that we finally got to do a podcast together as childhood friends, you know? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you guys for watching today's episode of Kushi's Corner. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.